Searching for the star, searching for the starlight. Will I find my way back home? Will I find my way back home? I'm moving through the shadows. I'm moving through the shadows.
Is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. Even on a Friday, it does not matter who I am. What it matters is who the listeners are. Yes, that's definitely what's going on. Anyways, how are you? It's been at least 23 hours, hopefully less, but, at least a minimum, depending if you only hung out on the Safety FM side of the house. But there you go. It's been about 23 or so since we did the thing that we get to do. So that's the fun stuff. So how are you? Did you have a good time? Did you have a good overnight? Did you get some sleepy-eepiness? Because that's always kind of an important thing. Anyways, we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and doing the things that we get to do around here, which is always a fun time. And then we are hanging out with our friends and colleagues at the other side.
Radio Big, mastering the art of putting music on shuffle. Radio Big.
Okay, so there you go, hanging out with our friends and colleagues at Radio Big, no doubt about that, as we are doing the things that we get to do. Anyway, so a lot of stuff happening in the overnight, so we'll get to talk about some of that. We'll get to do a little bit of this. If you want to interact with the show, it's a simple process in doing so. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's callinradio.com. It is Freeform Friday, so we talk about more nonsense than what we normally do. And there is no rhyme or reason to anything that we do. That is for sure. So don't worry about that. We'll talk about the highlights. We'll talk about the lowlights, and we'll talk about all the stuff that we didn't get to earlier in the week. That's kind of the other guarantee that you have. And when I say that it's a guarantee, if we don't hit what we're telling you, we'll refund exactly what you paid for, which is nothing. So there you go. So with that being said, let's talk real quick about how the show goes. Safety in the news and safety, and then the mumbo jumbo of everything else. So kind of the way that it goes here. Anyways, with that being said, let's do this. Let's talk about what was trending in the overnight, because why wouldn't you want to know that?
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so in taking a look around on the trend, Sam Bankman-Fried no longer faces a set of charges, and the iconic piece of Olympic culture gets revamped. Don't worry about that. We'll talk about that. Alan Cumming bears it all for PETA, and Travis Kelce got shut down. Or should I say shut down or shut out by Taylor Swift. Netflix takes a deeper look into Johnny Depp and Amber Heard defamation trial, so you'll see some of that. And then we'll talk about some of the things that are going on inside of the sequences. So that will be all of the stuff that is going on there. So fun. What else would you expect besides fun stuff? So there you go. Anyway, so we have some professional broadcasters that are hanging out on that side of the equation that are waiting to tell you a little bit about what is going on. Just in case You know, there are multiple options on taking a listen to this. You have the Radio Big app. You have the Safety FM app. You have the, let's see, I think TuneIn, iHeart, what other stuff? You have the website. You also have the podcast. You have the video streaming aspect of this whole thing. So multitude of things to do if you want to take a listen on what the hell is going on. So there you go. Options. Always what I wanted to have is options for you to take a view on what the hell, or take a listen to what the hell is going on around here. So there you go. Anyways, that being said, let's get into the news because, you know, they're waiting and all I have to do is connect for us to get the news going. So let's do that right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. Former President Trump is blasting the Justice Department for what he calls abuse after more charges were filed against him in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Brian Shook reports.
Trump told Fox News Digital Thursday that this is what you get for leading the polls for the White House in 2024, calling the charges ridiculous. Special counsel Jack Smith is adding one defendant to the prior indictment against Trump and aide Walt Nauta, along with an additional charge of willful retention and 2 new obstruction counts. Trump and Nauta have already both pleaded not guilty to federal charges related to the documents. I'm Brian Shook.
A new survey reveals half of Americans see China as the largest threat to the U.S. economy and national security. As according to the Pew Research Center, officials say the survey shows an increase in negative attitudes towards China since the country has been the main focus in politics. The surveillance balloon scandal earlier this year put China back in the spotlight, and it made more Americans feel uneasy about the nation. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell spoke on the Senate floor Thursday, a day after appearing to freeze up during a news conference. The Kentucky Republican spoke about defense issues.
Like Ranking Member Wicker, Vice Chair Collins, and many other colleagues on both sides of the aisle, outcompeting China is going to take a coalition of committed allies and partners.
McConnell's incident sparked concerns over his health status. President Biden called to check on him, and McConnell joked he got sandbagged in reference to Biden tripping over a sandbag last month. And this month is on pace to become the hottest month on record. That's according to new data from the Earth Observation Unit of the European Union Space Program and the World Meteorological Organization. The organization said the first 3 weeks of July have already set the record for the hottest 3-week period. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Speaker Kevin McCarthy says he's only considering an impeachment inquiry into President Biden at this time, not impeachment.
What impeachment inquiry does when you vote on the floor, it gives you the apex of power of Congress.
McCarthy made the distinction while talking to reporters on Thursday, saying the inquiry gives Congress more power to obtain the documents they need to investigate the president. McCarthy earlier this week said Republican-led investigations into the Biden family's business dealings are rising to the level of an impeachment inquiry. House Republicans leading investigations accuse Biden of taking bribes from foreign entities through his son Hunter during his time as vice president. IRS whistleblowers have also accused the DOJ of giving Hunter Biden preferential treatment in his criminal tax case. The White House has denied the allegations. Members of Congress are planning to tour the site of the deadly Parkland, Florida school massacre next week before it's demolished. U.S. Representative Jared Moskowitz is expected to lead the trip inside the 1200 building of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. 17 people were killed and another 17 were injured when a gunman opened fire inside the school in 2018. The Taliban is enforcing a ban on beauty salons in Afghanistan. Michael Kastner has a story.
A nationwide ban was enforced Tuesday after a 1-month deadline expired for owners to close their beauty parlors. The ban puts roughly 12,000 salons run by women out of business and puts about 60,000 Afghan women out of work. The Taliban claims the services the salons were offering are forbidden by Islam. A ministry spokesperson claimed plucking eyebrows and implanting hair were against Islamic law. I'm Michael Kastner.
And Randy Meisner of the Eagles is dead at the age of 77. The band announced the news on Thursday, revealing he passed away the previous night due to complications from COPD. In their announcement, they remembered Meisner as an integral part of the Eagles and instrumental in the early success of the band. He, along with Glenn Frey, Don Henley, and Bernie Ledden, formed the group in 1971. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1998. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Stop what you are doing. Radio Big is in the mix.
These days, it can be hard to find and hire the right candidates for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs made it easier to find the people that you want to talk to faster and for free. I have to tell you, even before they ever became a sponsor here on Safety FM, we have used LinkedIn Jobs to help find the people that we have here on Safety FM. It's an easy service to use. Create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond to the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. Focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience and use screening questions to get your role in front of only the most qualified candidates. Then use the simple tools on LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates you want to talk to faster. Did you know that every week nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/safetyfm. That's linkedin.com/safetyfm to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show self-implode on our airwaves, only on Safety FM.
Here is another bit for our competitors to copy. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 15 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out and doing the things that we get to do. No doubt about that. So let's get into some more news coming directly from the shit list, because that is what we do around here. Just a day after prosecutors petitioned the judge overseeing the Sam Bankman-Fried case to send him to jail as he awaits trial, the Department of Justice dropped a set of charges against the former crypto billionaire, specifically those related to Federal Election Commission violations. Prosecutors cited the lack of standing, especially related to how the extradition from the Bahamas was conducted. So I'm going to give you some editorial notes here. They're certainly not lawyers that worry about too thick in the weeds on how this happened, and that means, but it does sound like it was a technicality, and it could also suggest that they know that that they have him dead to rights on fraud, on conspiracy charges, and the FEC violations aren't worth the headache. So there you go. I'm pretty sure that it has to do with something weirdo, but that's kind of the way that it goes. And let's do this.
We at Safety FM are not responsible for what this idiot behind the microphone is saying. He is trying to be entertaining. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, a new sleek, shiny, and energy-conscious Olympic torch will be used to open the 2024 Paris Games. Organizers told the Associated Press that only 2,000 have been made, which is 5 times fewer than the previous years, an effort to lessen the carbon footprint made by the recycled steel. Each torch weighs about 3.3 pounds and stands about 27.5 inches. The torch will be an ancient Olympia, Greece, on May the 8th, and from there it will be carried by over 10,000 torchbearers before ending the opening ceremonies on July the 26th. Keep in mind that's 2024, so don't think that I'm talking about July 26th, meeting the one that just happened 2 days ago, because that can get confusing. I get it. In the midst of the Discovery Channel's 35th annual official Shark Week, the International Shark Attack File, ISAF, details locations around the world with the highest rates of attacks. According to the ISF, which serves as the world's most comprehensive database of all known shark attacks, there were 761 unprovoked shark attacks recorded worldwide between 2012 and 2021. 60 in which were fatal. In the U.S. alone, there was 471, 8 of them being fatal. And with Florida, Hawaii, and South Carolina, North Carolina, and California leading the pack. So there you go. Topping the worldwide list is Florida with 259 bites, followed by Australia with 143. Rounding out the top 5 is Hawaii, South Carolina, and North Carolina. So there you go. Yeah, I would imagine that water access does play a key factor into this. But if they're saying that the water around Florida now is at the boiling stage, is there a lot of shark attacks going on?
Duh.
So there you go. Anyways, Anheuser-Busch is laying off about 380 employees as it bleeds the market share in a very competitive beer market. The restructuring will kill corporate and marketing jobs in New York, St. Louis, and Los Angeles. In a statement to the Wall Street Journal, the company's CEO, while we never take these decisions lightly, we want to ensure that our organizations continue to be set for the future long-term success. He added that these corporate structure changes will enable our teams to focus on what we do best, brewing great beer everywhere. So there you go. It's going to be interesting to see what goes on with there and what will be some of the repercussions that come out of that. There is no doubt about it. So anyways, researchers studying about 2,000 plus years of old graves and ancient British warriors have concluded that the person was very likely a female. The burial site includes not only a shield, but also a mara, which typically accompanied by women to their final resting place. It's only known that the grave is the Iron Age to contain both items. One researcher says that the find suggests deceased had high status within her community and may have played the commanding role of the local warfare, organizing or leading raids onto rival groups. The certain warrior gender comes from a new biomolecular analysis technique pioneered by the University of California, which was able to extract and study proteins that remain in the teeth. Yeah, the teeth. I don't know. I mean, it's just telling you how it comes up. I don't know. I mean, don't blame me. I mean, protein extracts. What do you want me to say? I'm so confused. Anyways, let's bring some John Smalls in here. Let's have him talk about the market beat.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Friday, July 28th, brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Equity markets pulled back Thursday after the reality of the FOMC's latest rate hike was digested. The hike, another 25 basis points, puts the base rate at over 550 basis points. That is the highest level in over 2 decades. The full effect of the already implemented hikes has yet to be felt, which means that economic headwinds will persist for at least another year. In this scenario, more banks will fail, leading to consolidation within the industry and ever-tightening credit conditions. The S&P 500 fell more than 0.65% at the session's low and formed a bearish attack pattern. The pattern suggests the top of the market could lead to a correction. The question is how deep the correction will be. Investors should expect to see the market fall 1% to 3% at least before it hits its bottom. If today's PCE price index confirms the need for additional interest rate hikes, the sell-off could be monumental. You can get the inside track at marketbeatminute.com.
Okay, thank you, John Smalls, for the information on what is going on. The Dow lost about 237 points to close at 35,282 on Thursday. The S&P lost about 29 points to close at 4,537, and the NASDAQ lost about 77 points to close at 14,050. West Texas Intermediate closed at $79 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $83 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.71 on Thursday, and Bitcoin slid to 0.75 on Thursday, trading just around 29,100. There was more than 3,550 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Thursday, and more than 340 such cancellations. Tonight's Mega Million drawing will be for $910 million jackpot, or a $464.2 million cash payout. Saturday night's Powerball drawing will be for $60 million jackpot, or a $31.1 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, I guess you have the opportunity to do so. Anyways, we talked yesterday about Sinead O'Connor passing away. One day after her passing, local authorities stated that Sinead O'Connor's death is not being treated as suspicious. The Irish musician was found dead in her London home on Wednesday. A cause of death is pending an autopsy. She was only 56 at the time of passing. This is all according to CBS. So there you go. There you go. Some stuff going on right there as we are speaking. So with that being said, let's talk about some other things that are happening inside of the world real quick. DeSantis. Yes, let's talk about DeSantis, presidential candidate. Let's see. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will be back in South Carolina next month, apparently to do some level of a barbecue. Did you hear about that? I mean, that's kind of basic, kind of interesting. Was that something that you would go out there and see? I mean, interesting that, why would you want a Floridian to do barbecue in South Carolina? I'm just asking the question. Take a listen to this. Heat makes us cranky. Did you know this? Yeah, there you go. When the mercury rises, tempers flare. Bree Tennis has more about this.
A report from the American Psychiatric Association says we do get cranky when it's hot. The reason, scientific. When the temperature goes up, so does your heart rate, which leads to increased stress levels and a bad mood, because the heat reduces our ability to manage our emotions, bringing even the best of us to meltdown territory. I'm Bree Tennis, NBC News Radio.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, just some interesting stuff. Anyways, if you were in Michigan, you're probably not too happy. Nearly 130,000 DTE Energy customers are still without power from Wednesday storms at 10 p.m. last night, with temperatures back into the 90s again. The city of Livonia has opened an emergency shelter in Kirksey Recreation Center.
So a lot of people are coming here to take showers. They're coming here to charge their devices. A lot of people are just coming to kind of cool off, get out of the sun, relax.
The facility managers, Janine Paulin, the recreation center is running a generator as it's without power. It's open from 5 a.m. till 10 p.m. and today it'll be open from 6 a.m. till 7 p.m. Tomorrow from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. and also on Sunday. So there you go. Some stuff going on right there as we are talking. Do we want to talk about puppy rescues? How did this get in here? Take a listen to this one. The Anston building downtown Battle Creek is being overhauled to become the 8th housing unit, with Sprout BC occupying the ground floor. And with the Co-op Market and Cafe, Cody and Caitlin Newman brought a 100-year-old building for $1 from Battle Creek Unlimited and have received $1.5 million in grants from Michigan Economic Development Corporation. Take a listen.
It's worthy of renovation. It's time.
The project will cost $3 million and construction is due to begin in September. The building has been vacant since 1997. Cody Newman says that she's thankful for the grants and the overhaul of the Anston building.
Even if we had bought the building for $200,000, or even if they gave us $500,000 with the building and we purchased it for nothing, it still is underwater. So these grants and these things have to take place to help close that gap.
Yep, there you go. I mean, you get a 100-year-old building, you know there's some work to be done for sure. No doubt about it, regardless of the price. You could have got it pennies on the dollar. And there you go. That's what happens. Anyways, Oxford High School teachers Molly Darnell from Pontiac, Michigan, says that she's avoided everything she can to heal from the November 2021 shooting that injured her and 6 others and killed 4 students. Darnell testified yesterday at a mandatory Miller hearing for shooter Ethan Crumbly after he pled guilty to all charges last October.
You moved to the right, and then did you hear a shot?
I heard 3 very loud. They're physically loud. Like I could feel them coming through that door.
The hearing continues today and will be used with the judge to determine the Crumbly gets sentenced to life in prison without parole, or if he will have a chance at a later in his life. Darnell was shot in an arm. Oxford High School teacher Molly Darnell testified on Ethan Crumbly's Miller's hearing. Here's more.
Do you know how hard it is to heal from something like this? I avoid everything I can to heal.
So, tough times, definitely taking a listen to that, no doubt about it. Coming out of Chicago, Illinois, hundreds of workers at Chicago Loretto Hospital are preparing to go on strike on Monday. The union representation that is really representing the employees at the hospital says the contract talks have stalled.
And we are poised to strike on Monday, despite our best attempts to negotiate and get through to Loretto management. They walked away from the table yesterday.
The workers are pushing for better wages and a safer staffing. Staffers set to walk out of the job include mental health workers, radiology technicians, inpatient transporters, housekeeping workers, and emergency technicians. So it sounds like almost a good chunk of the staff. I mean, let's call it for what it is. No doubt about that whatsoever. Anyways, work is underway in the Prism Group expanded facility of Duquan. Governor Pritzker attended the groundbreaking ceremony in Illinois to see the expansion.
When it's completed, the Prismian expansion of this Perry County facility will be a manufacturing leader in the electric vehicle sector and the renewable energy market more broadly.
Pritzker announced a new Reimagining Energy and Vehicle in Illinois agreement as part of the REV Illinois incentive package. The manufacturing firm plans to invest $64 million and create 80 new high-paying jobs that are expanding in southern Illinois. So there you go. Some stuff to talk about for sure there. No doubt about it. The Illinois is targeting the Crisis Pregnancy Center. Planned Parenthood of Illinois CEO and President Jennifer Welch spoke out against the centers.
The goal of these centers is simple. They're trying to get people in their doors to stop them from having abortions.
Governor Pritzker signed the Deceptive Practices of Limited Services Pregnancy Center Act. The law bans crisis pregnancy centers from using misinformation, deceptive practices, and misrepresentation in order to interfere with access to abortion services and emergency contraception. The measure allows the Illinois Attorney General to investigate complaints against the center using such tactics and straightens the AG office's power to prosecute incidents of consumer fraud in such cases. I mean, that definitely changes some things if you start really taking a listen on what is going on there. That is for sure. So there you go. Take a listen to this real quick. A new program that would see 3,000 new trees planted across Georgia by spring with the help of landowners. Take a listen to what Liz Kennedy has to say.
The American Forest Foundation is piloting the Field to Forest program geared toward landowners looking to reforest their properties. Natalie O'Munson, Director of Product Implementation for the nonprofit, says if a landowner wants to transition their field into forest land, the foundation will pay for them to complete that process. The goal is to empower family forest owners to improve forest health and help the planet. To find out more about the tree program, visit forestfoundation.org.
Okay.
I'm Liz Kennedy.
Okay, so thank you, Liz, for that information right there. So are you planning on traveling anytime soon via car? Well, gas prices are at the 8-month high. Brian Shook has more.
AAA reports the national average price for a gallon of regular gas hit $3.71 on Thursday. That's the highest the average has hit since November and is 13 cents more compared to a week ago. The jump comes as the price for a barrel of oil has surged to $80, a 3-month high. California has the highest average price at $4.93, while Mississippi drivers are seeing the lowest average at $3.17 a gallon. I'm Brian Shook.
So think about that real quick. I mean, what kind of pricing is that? That is something to really think about. Take a listen to this. Disneyland says goodbye to a 45-foot tall live-breathing dragon. Take a listen to what Lucinda Kay has to say.
The Maleficent dragon will not be back. It caught fire in April and fell apart right in the middle of the show. Instead, Disneyland bosses say Fantasmic will feature new special effects during the battle scene between Sorcerer Mickey and Maleficent. And it'll take longer than expected to rework the finale. Fantasmic will return in the spring of 2024. I'm Lucinda Kay.
Okay, thank you, Lucinda Kay, for that information right there on what is going on, because, I mean, that's interesting. You know that people like their traditions when it comes to stuff, so it's going to get kind of weird when you turn around and tell them, hey, you remember that thing that you used to love when you were younger? Well, it's no longer there.
Here is the news on the Radio R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in Rome, I'm Giles Gibson. Former US President Donald Trump has been accused of ordering staff at his Mar-a-Lago resort to delete security camera footage. On Thursday, US prosecutors added 3 new charges to their previous indictment over alleged mishandling of classified documents. Special counsel Jack Smith also charged a maintenance worker at Mar-a-Lago with conspiracy to obstruct justice. Additional charges have been filed against Walt Nauder as well, a Trump aide who's already been accused of helping the former president to hide documents. Nauder pleaded not guilty to those charges earlier this month. Mr. Trump has denied any wrongdoing and has called special counsel Jack Smith, quotes, deranged. Meanwhile, the White House says there's no possibility that President Joe Biden will pardon his son. Hunter Biden's legal troubles are set to become a bigger campaign issue ahead of next year's presidential election after a federal judge refused to sign off on a plea deal. Here's our U.S. correspondent, Ira Spitzer.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre responded to a reporter question about whether there was any possibility President Biden would pardon his son Hunter with a one-word answer: no. Hunter Biden appeared set to avoid jail time on misdemeanor tax charges and gun charges after negotiating a plea agreement with the Justice Department. But in a surprise twist on Wednesday, a federal judge said the agreement needed further study. That means the younger Biden's legal woes will continue to be a headache for the president, giving his political opponents more ammunition.
Kyiv says it's retaken territory in the southeast of Ukraine. The Ukrainian military says troops recaptured a village about 90 miles east of Zaporizhia. Russian President Vladimir Putin, though, says all counter-offensive attempts have been stopped. And Typhoon Doksuri is bringing gales and heavy rain to China's southeast after leaving a trail of destruction in the Philippines and Taiwan. Patrick Falk reports.
Reports say Doksuri picked up speed as it approached southeastern China, reaching as high as 187 kilometers an hour around the eye of the storm. It hit the coastal city of Jinjiang first after crossing the Taiwan Strait. Forecasters say it will continue moving northwest and weaken gradually. But authorities have raised the emergency response to China's highest level and urged local government officials to carry out prevention and rescue work. Outdoor and large indoor gatherings have been halted, and multiple highways in Fujian, Zhejiang and Guangdong have been closed temporarily. Xiamen Island off Fujian province also ordered schools and offices to shut as of Thursday afternoon. Patrick Falk, Singapore.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. It's been an alarming week in Israel after the Knesset passed judicial reform proposals presented by the government of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, resulting in mass protests and the use of water cannon by the authorities against demonstrators. So what is the judicial reform all about? Jonathan Friedland of The Guardian is host of the podcast Unholy.
The claim of their critics, and I think they're echoed by the White House and others, is that this will essentially gut the power of the judiciary, the courts, to exercise any kind of restraint on the government of the day. And there are no other checks and balances in Israel. It's just a quirk of its own system. There's no written constitution. There's no second chamber. There's not even an unwritten constitution that everyone sort of adheres to. And therefore it means you're looking at a government that has almost untrammeled power. And therefore people are making comparisons that this will turn Israel into kind of Erdogan's Turkey or Viktor Orban's Hungary and make it an illiberal democracy, if you like. In other words, there'll still be elections, but there won't be those checks and balances that people rely on, and that's why those huge crowds are out on the streets.
Opposition leader Yair Lapid says he wants the Supreme Court to annul the new law. Prime Minister Netanyahu says it's needed to allow the government to deliver on its promises. The White House says the law's passage is unfortunate. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
And here's the main news again. Former US President Donald Trump has been accused of ordering staff at his Mar-a-Lago resort to delete security camera footage. Kyiv says it's retaken territory in the southeast of Ukraine, but Moscow says the counter-offensive has been repelled so far. And Typhoon Doksuri is bringing gales and heavy rain to China's southeast after leaving a trail of destruction in the Philippines and Taiwan. And that's the latest from Feature Story News. Giles Gibson reporting.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You are listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp-speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Always replicated, but never duplicated. Rated R Safety Show.
Well, you might be like me and heard all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why.
Well,
Our
you
host
might
has
be
a
like
face
me
for
and heard
radio.
all these terms and were not 100% sure on what they meant. Things as mining, blockchain, the Internet of Things. Well, I will tell you, we here at Safety FM have partnered up with a company that will explain this to you and will also have conversations to inform you on how you might have the potential of making passive income by being involved with this. All you need to do is go to safetyfm.com/iHub. They'll discuss blockchain. What exactly is mining? What is cryptocurrency? And what is the Internet of Things? To find out more information, go to safetyfm.com/iHub. That's safetyfm.com/iHub. And don't forget to mention that Jay Allen sent you.
Duh. You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Have you ever wanted to start live streaming and were not sure how to do it? You can start live streaming up to 40 social media platforms all at one time for as little as nada. It's going to cost you your time. That is what it's going to cost. You can pre-record, you can live stream, you can do a multitude of things. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.com/one. That's safetyfm.com, ONE. Okay, there you go. Currently 43 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out, doing all the fun stuff that we get to do. This right here is Young Charlie with Shadows, being played on the Rated R Safety Show, hour number 1 of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. It's a 3-hour show, just in case you were wondering. So there you go. Thanks to Young Charlie for allowing us to play this here. You can take a listen to this song via streaming services, YouTube Music, Apple Music, Spotify. Some opciones for you. Options. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's move forward into the world and talk about some other things that are going on, because I think that that's going to be something that you're going to want to do and take a listen to all kinds of fun stuff. So I'm going to do this a little bit differently today. Take a listen to this. Hear this real quick before I go into the next thing I want to talk about. We here are about heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and dehydration during heat waves, but extreme heat can also take a toll on your mental health. Take a listen.
Psychologists say triple-digit feel-like temps can trigger aggression, self-harm, and a jump in psychiatric emergency room visits.
Extreme heat can lower our general ability to be resilient.
Dr. Joseph Galasso, a clinical psychologist in North Jersey, says if you're dealing with substance abuse or pre-existing mental illness, you're especially vulnerable to relapse.
If you are taking psychotropic medication, it's important to understand that several types of these medications can impair our body's ability to regulate temperature.
I'm Sarah Lee Kessler.
Okay, thank you, Sarah Lee Kessler. So let's talk about this now. Let me tell you about the most important part that I will ever tell you, especially if you're dealing with heat exhaustion and all this other stuff. And that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. To Write Love on Her Arms wants you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. Healing is possible. All you have to do is go to their website, twloha.com. That's twloha.com. That will get everything moving and grooving for you. If you go to their website, go to the far right-hand side and click on the section that says Find Help. That will get everything moving and grooving. Find Help. To Write Love on Her Arms. They're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's all kinds of different phone numbers and how you can get connected with things that are going on within the community and how to be able to get help within your general area. So if you're interested in getting some help, you're more than welcome on doing that by going to twloha.com. So there you go. So with that being said, let's continue talking about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multiverse, because that's what we do around here. We talk about the world of the multiverse. No doubt about that. Anyways, let's talk about some movies that are opening this weekend. So, Haunted Mansion, a woman and her son enlist in the battle crew of a so-called spiritual experts to help rid their home of supernatural squatters. That's PG-13 coming out today. And Talk to Me. It is a horror mystery when a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand. That they become hooked on a new thrill until one of them goes too far and unleashes a terrifying supernatural forces. That's also out today. So there you go. Not sure if any of the other movies will be dethroned, but we'll take a look-see on what is going on. So for sure. Earlier this week, we spoke that no one is going to say that the newest flavored Skittle tastes like rainbow in celebration of Mustard Day on August the 5th, but the candy brand has partnered with French's to make the first ever mustard flavored Skittle. The company says the candies and tangy mustard flavor combined with Skittle's iconic chewy texture and are yellow, but they won't find the new flavor in the store shelves. So if you are odd enough to want to try the flavor, you need to meet up with French's Mustard Mobile, which is stopping in 3 cities: Atlanta on July the 31st, Washington on August the 2nd, and New York on August the 5th. You can also enter online sweepstakes for the chance to win mustard Skittles. All you have to do is go to French's.com, mustard Skittles. What's second place? Well, a 2-pack. No, I'm just kidding. On the other hand, the very thought of mustard Skittles makes my nose hairs curl. And on the other hand, I'm thinking that what would one things taste like on a hot dog? I mean, does it have sugar or is it just straight mustard? There's just so many questions that come about when you really start thinking about the whole thing there. So there you go. So there you go. There you go. There you go. A lot of fun stuff as we are moving and grooving for sure. So let's continue talking a little bit more about some other stuff. Take a listen to this real quick. Proponents of the Stop Cop City movement in Atlanta are getting the win in court as a federal judge rules in their favor. Liz Kennedy has more.
In a ruling released Thursday, U.S. District Judge Mark Cohen issued an order temporarily blocking Atlanta from enforcing a requirement that only city residents can canvass for signatures on a referendum petition. It's good news for opponents of the Public Safety Training Center going up in DeKalb County. According to the AJC, Mary Hooks, a tactical lead for the Referendum Coalition, stated that they are thrilled by Judge Cohen's ruling and the expansion of democracy to include their DeKalb neighbors. Proponents must submit a total of 70,000 signatures for the issue to go on the ballot. More than 30,000 signatures have been secured. I'm Liz Kennedy.
Okay, thank you, Liz Kennedy, for that information right there. So that's going to make you think about some things for sure as things move forward there in good old Georgia. Also, with everything going on, the 75th Primetime Emmys are officially being delayed. Mark Mayfield explains.
Variety reports that vendors for the award show were told the ceremony will not air September the 18th. While the news was expected due to the current Hollywood strike, the date was kept as a placeholder by Fox and the TV Academy. The delay marks the first time the Emmys have been postponed since 2011. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, so there you go. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there because, people want their Emmys, They want to see what exactly is going on inside of there. So there you go. Anyways, Senator Dianne Feinstein appears to have been confused during a committee vote Thursday. The California Democrat was called on to voice her vote during the Senate Appropriations Committee meeting. Take a listen.
Yeah, just say aye. Okay, just aye. Thank you.
Senator Durbin, Senator Reed.
Aye. The 89-year-old moment came a day after the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell froze during a news conference after he trailed off while speaking to reporters. Senator Dianne Feinstein began her speech when she was supposed to say aye or nay.
I would like to support a yes vote on this. It provides $823 billion. That's an increase of $26 billion for the Department of Defense.
So there you go. I mean, these things happen. It's kind of all over the place. Take a listen to this one real quick. A jury finds a man guilty of killing a pregnant Baltimore woman. Michael Robertson was convicted on Thursday on 2 counts of first-degree murder and the death of Ikea Eggleston and her unborn child. Ikea's family spoke outside of the courthouse after the verdict.
We thank God for this verdict today, that the law works.
To know that, we know who her killer is, and he will be behind bars for the rest of his life is a great thing.
The 22-year-old and 8 months pregnant with Robertson's child when he disappeared in May of 2017. Eggleston was reported missing after she didn't show up for her baby shower, and her body has never been found. Robertson faces the possibility of life in prison when sentenced in October. So there you go. Some things to think about for sure as we are talking. Take a listen to this one. A new survey revealed that half of Americans see China as the largest threat to the U.S. economy and national security. Mark Mayfield explains.
That's according to the Pew Research Center. Officials say the survey shows an increase in negative attitudes toward China since the country has been the main focus in politics. The surveillance balloon scandal earlier this year put China back in the spotlight and made more Americans feel uneasy about the country. A global Pew survey revealed that there are record high levels of unfavorability for China in most surveyed nations. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Okay, thank you, Mark Mayfield, for that information right there. Let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Cole. Marcus Aurelius said, "You're better off not giving the small things more time than they deserve." He actually sent a few more quotes from Marcus Aurelius, like, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Another one, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." Plus, here's another. "Because most of what we say and do is not essential, ask yourself every moment, is this necessary?" And finally, think of yourself as dead. You've lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly. Some great quotes, Cole. Now I need to take a moment to digest all of that, but Marcus Aurelius had some amazing thoughts on many subjects. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Numerous studies show that heavier people are paid less and not promoted as much as thinner colleagues and are often stereotyped as lazy or undisciplined. Now bills are being signed in some states prohibiting such discriminatory practices. Michigan is currently the only state to prohibit employment discrimination on the basis of weight. A Los Angeles man is recovering from a rare triple organ transplant. 46-year-old Valence Sams now has a new heart, a new liver, and a new kidney.
I'm just thankful for another day, whether it be
cloudy, sunny. Every day is a good day. Every day is my birthday at this point.
Sams lives in Baldwin Hills. For the past 10 years, Sams had been in failing health, and doctors told him he'd likely not survive much longer. But now, after 20 hours of surgery at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center, doctors say Sam's prognosis is good. Health Updates, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. As I recall my childhood, it's not the Little League baseball games I remember, or the junior high football games, but the long summer evening spent playing catch with my dad. Nor do I remember a single time when I gulped down a Big Mac on the way to a soccer game. But I do remember eating dinner as a family virtually every evening of my childhood, and the rhythm of mealtime gave order to our daily lives, while affording us an opportunity to connect with each other. Ephesians 6:4 says, "Fathers, do not exasperate your children. Instead, bring them up in the training and instruction of the Lord." Lord Jesus, deliver us from our hectic lives. Help us to slow down and enjoy being a family. Amen. If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, there you go. 55 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Freeform Friday. So let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. If I take a look back at 2019, Meghan Markle is a guest editor in UK's Vogue September issue. She is the first guest editor of the magazine in 103 years. The issue was the magazine's best-selling edition in 105-year history. So there you go. Anyways, if you're looking at some birthdays for today, Harry Kane turns 30, Spencer Boldman 31, Soulja Boy turns 33, Afro Man 49, Dana White turns 54, Liz Cheney turns 57, Lori Loughlin turns 59, Jim Davis 78, and Bill Bradley. Yeah, he turns 80 today. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, I have some of those for you, of course. It is National System Administration Appreciation Day, World Hepatitis Day, National Milk Chocolate Day, National Talk in an Elevator Day. So there you go, some days of the year to celebrate if you're so inclined to do so. If you are looking for a random joke for today, I have one of those for you. Would exercise be a lot more fun if calories screamed while they're burning from your body? That's something to think about. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What song do you feel compelled to sing along with, even if you don't really know the words? And if you need a question for the water cooler, try this question. 38% of people say that they always go to the same place for this. What is it? A haircut. So there you go. People go to the same place for a haircut. Things to think about. Anyways, before I forget, make sure that if you have not checked it out, go to safetyfm.io to take a look at what's going on with the Conklin Conference coming up September the 27th through the 29th in Orlando. You have the opportunity to hang out with Bob Edwards, Mark Yeston, Jen Long, Andrea Baker, and Todd Conklin, and I will be hosting the event here in good old Orlando. So there you go. That would be a great time to come out and see ya. That is for sure. Anyways, if I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this. When you love what you have everything you need. Maybe that's something to think about. Anyways, have a great weekend. If you don't come out and hang out with me on Radio Big for the next couple hours or so, or if you are staying here and hanging out with Sheldon Primus, have fun doing that. Thank you for always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.